Appetite for America by Stephen Fried. This intriguing book by Stephen Fried could be renamed The Endless Impact of a Single Man on the American Hospitality Industry. Fred Harvey, the man behind the company, has done more for the hospitality industry than any other individual, past or present, and until reading this work by Mr. Fried, I had no idea. What an eye-opener. Nearly every page was filled with details how this pioneer has impacted how I live and eat even today, nearly 150 years later. He was the first American brand long before Coca-Cola existed. He had a tremendous impact on the likes of Walt Disney, Howard Hughes, and even Albert Einstein. He took on the biggest and baddest in the country and pushed his cause all the way to the Supreme Court. Mr. Harvey set a precedent providing service and, as they say, gave back to those in his community. He would offer a meal to those impoverished travelers that didn't have money to pay for their own meals. You could say that he invented supply chain management and used his purchasing power to consolidate his purchases and improve his bottom line and offer a better product. All this was accomplished while keeping his family intact, raising his kids, who later carried the Fred Harvey name beyond his grave. During much of his life, he suffered ailing health and was able to continue to push forward and accomplished a high level of work, even while spending many extended stays away from the business. During which time, he developed a secret method of sending messages to his son, Ford Harvey. All of the impacts that Fred Harvey left on America. What he did for women stands out as one of the greatest. He created the Harvey Girls, comprised of young, decent, hard-working women from around the country, to serve as hostesses in his lunchrooms. When many opportunities didn't exist for women, he allowed them to move outside of the lives they were locked into and be a bit adventurous. He gave women the first opportunity to live in protected circumstances and yet be very independent. Their standards for cleanliness and decorum are credited as having a civilizing effect on the often rough customers in the territories. My introduction to Appetite for America has made a lasting impact on me and will forever change the way that I do business. The most powerful messages were: 1. Always ask for more than what you are offered. Fred had a keen sense of being on the upside of a deal. He never hesitated to ask for more, and he typically received it. Put your customers first, no matter what. Wow, did Fred live this principle. He went over the top for his customers, ensuring they had the very best linens, china, service, and food, even when much less would have sufficed. 3. Demand the most from your employees. Fred didn't let up on his employees. He set the bar high and pushed them to never compromise the Harvey way. When they fell short, he let them know, and oftentimes in very dramatic ways. 4. Relationships count, especially in business. The key relationships he established paid dividends for Fred, especially as the railroad changed hands and appeared to be moving in another direction. 5. You never know where life will take you. Work hard and hang on for the ride. I don't think Fred Harvey would have guessed where life would have taken him, especially back in the early days, working as a pot scrubber in a New York restaurant. 6. You might just have to go at it alone. After a few failed partnerships, Fred Harvey found his best success running his business on his own, relying on the well-trained employees. Even despite all these amazing accolades that Stephen Fried discovered and shared about Fred Harvey and his company, it wasn't until I read this book that I learned who this man was and what his brand represented. Why hadn't I heard of Fred Harvey until I read this book? Well, the answer is clear now. The Fred Harvey Company didn't innovate. As the market turned and the railroads become less desirable, Fred Harvey never changed. They stayed with the old and let the airplane business and its new food provider run this brand down the line. It is a sad tale and one that is told too often. Yesterday's victories don't guarantee next year's success. Companies that fail to innovate and react to changing times will find themselves on the outside looking in. Thank you.